Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday Recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. For EVE Online, I would say that I've had a pretty good week of EVE Online. I've definitely spent a decent amount in the game and I've done a lot of exploration, but hardly any loot. So really an unnatural amount of sites dropped, no faction pieces. I was quite surprised by that, a little bit disappointed as well, but a viewer did send me an interesting feed for the Phantasm to take a look at, and so I have been exploring a little bit more, trying to figure the ship out and see how it performs in exploration. Of course, there's going to be more on that next week with a couple of videos on the Phantasm, but it's definitely a lot of fun and it does do surprisingly well against smaller targets. That's something that really surprises me. It like reliably one-shots frigates and not cruisers but frigates and destroyers, and does so at a lot of ranges. So I was quite surprised by that, and yeah, it's been a pretty fun experience so far exploring with the Phantasm. Next to that, I of course have my regular business in EVE Online. So we've got PI. Unfortunately, I should have brought my produced PI to GTA a couple of weeks ago. That's when the coolants, mechanical parts, everything related to fuels seems to have peaked, because we do have a decent downtrend there. They're still selling well above average, but they're definitely not at the best price anymore. And then of course the blueprint copy business, which has been keeping up with the regular stuff. Orca BPCs, those always tend to sell pretty damn well. And then we have the structure BPCs, which are actually doing decently well as well. They're up in price a little bit, 6-7 million for most structure BPCs. That makes for a pretty nice margin, to be honest. And then of course we also have the development news. So we've got the patch notes for the April release. It's of course mostly focused on the balance changes coming to the game for capital supers, especially the remote reps. Then we also have the Rorcal nerfs and some changes to the subcapital ships. I myself am looking forward to the Caracal Navy issue, receiving 5 small drones and seeing how that one is going to perform then as an exploration platform, because it makes for the ideal combination, of course, missiles and drones. So we'll see how that works out. I look forward to the patch, and then of course I look forward to anything else that CCP might announce for the game. We've got the strange Triglavian construction that turns out that in all likeliness it's not just a capital ship or something like that that they are building, but something way bigger, which if you watched EVE Talk, I think has led to some speculation on structure stuff coming to the game, because the advanced PI materials have shot up all of a sudden almost across the board. So interesting times in EVE Online, and I definitely look forward to what's coming next. And this brings me to that other game, Total War Warhammer 2. I have been playing a lot of that, exploring more of the game, starting a second campaign as well. So basically I finished with the High Elves, and yeah, I got stuck. The Dark Elves managed to get their final ritual going before me, and there was not enough time for me to basically make my main army strong enough to counter that final battle, to stop them from gaining or winning the game, I should say. So definitely very interesting. It is because I made a lot of mistakes early on trying to explore the game and just, you know, going for it, seeing what happens, building wrong buildings, building double buildings and leaving them up for a dozen turns. All of those mistakes of course happened and led to this result, but it was a very interesting experience. And the High Elf playstyle is of course very easy, lots of shields and spears at the front, arrows at the back, and just let them come. That usually does win you a lot of battles, which I enjoy. I enjoy the turtle type of playstyle personally. That led me to a second campaign. Well, we tried to do the exact opposite, go for the Dark Elves this time, and yeah, very interesting as well. Probably even easier actually than the High Elves, or that may just be the fact that I learned a lot about the game in my first playthrough, of course, but I managed to go through that entire campaign and in fact win it with Malekith. Completely different vibe. You start up north in a barren, cold part of the world there. The Dark Elves have some pretty interesting units, but basically you can try to do the same thing as the High Elves, get some melee units at the front and then get your crossbows at the back. It works really well. They have a lower range, I think, than the high elf archers though. So whenever you encounter those armies, it's a bit of a pain in the butt to have to maneuver your own range units closer to what you normally would want in order to counter their range units. So that's been quite interesting. I haven't even explored everything that the Dark Elves have. They have some special ships that allow them to do some sort of raiding stuff that looked very interesting, but I just went ham on trying to optimize my economy, get lots of armies going, try to conquer lots of territory, and then for the final push, because the High Elves did race me to that final ritual again, but then I just decided to take a couple of my stronger armies over to their continent and slap them around a little bit, taking all their cities, and then we were there first. Interesting final battle, although overall not something that was super special in my opinion. What was most interesting about the playthrough actually was the sudden Tomb King's invasion with 3 massive armies against me. That made for a very, very cool siege battle at the end of my playthrough there, and I think my favorite video so far for Total War Warhammer 2, which, well, I've made a lot of videos in the last week playing so much of the game, so trying to space them out a little bit, but in the upcoming week you are going to get a lot of Total War because I've been playing the game just so much and absolutely enjoying my time there. Great purchase, definitely something that if you like strategy games, I would say I would recommend you put on the wish list on Steam, and then just wait for, like I did, a 66% discount, $20. That was a great purchase. I already have at least 3 times the amount of hours that I would want for that price. So absolutely great. Looking forward to more, and then probably I'll pick up some of those DLCs as well if I see those on sale. But it's been very intense. I've played a lot of Total War 2, so right now I am again getting to that point where I'm looking at something new to invest my time in next to EVE Online. Not sure what I'll choose just yet, but that is basically now at the end of this week where I'm at when it comes to the games. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time.